Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're taking a look at 10 scary movies that drew inspiration from real-world killings and killers.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
Number 10. The Strangers.
Director-screenwriter Brian Bertino drew on the crimes of the Manson family as well as personal experience for this home invasion horror film. Bertino stated he remembers a group of people knocking on the doors in his neighborhood asking if a made-up person was home.
Is Tamara here?
No, you got the wrong house.
If no one answered the door, they would rob the house. His movie takes on a much more sinister approach, focusing instead on a group that wants to kill innocent people in their homes for no reason. As with them, it's the randomness and senselessness of their acts that leaves you shivering.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home.
Number 9. The Girl Next Door.
Thanks, David. That was fun. Hey, back where? We're staying with our cousins, the Chandlers.
Based on John Ketchum's 1989 novel, this horror drama is such a harrowing watch, it will make you ache to learn that its based on true events message wasn't only a marketing ploy.
You understand how girls get squeamish, don't you? And Meg here's a lady. Why, sure she is.
Unfortunately, this tale about a victim who's tormented under the watchful eye of a supposed guardian is based on the 1965 case of Sylvia Likens.
The game is she's gotta tell.
Okay. Tell what?
Something secret.
Sounds right.
Although a few things are changed from the real story, The Girl Next Door puts a lot of this crime's cruelty on full display. Stephen King described it as, quote, a long look into hell, suburban style.
Tony told his mother that he'd seen several other boys from the neighborhood over here beating up on Meg.
Oh, well, you know kids, Officer Jennings. They're always exaggerating. It was probably just a little roughhousing.
Number 8. The Hills Have Eyes.
We're right here someplace on this little blue road. Mother, this road is not a blue line. It's a dotted line if it's on the map at all.
While in search of inspiration for his second film, the now legendary horror filmmaker Wes Craven stumbled upon the historic legend of Sawney Bean. Bean was a 16th century figure who led a clan of cannibals in Scotland. Over a span of 25 years, Bean and his clan members are believed to have cannibalized over 1,000 people. This striking tale became the basis for Craven's horror classic The Hills Have Eyes, which was released in 1977. Although similar in many ways, the Savage family in Craven's film suffer a different fate from their real-life counterparts. Bean and his clan were hunted down by King James VI men and executed in a particularly macabre fashion.
It's pretty quiet.
Think they'll land for us?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Number 7.
Ravenous. Starvation and desperation can make people do strange things.
Wendigo eats, must eat more. He never enough. He takes, never gives.
The Western horror film Ravenous is not based on one specific historical incident, but it does take inspiration from different sources, primarily the life of Alfred Packer and the Donner Party.
He killed everyone. Cahoon killed everyone!
Along with some nods to these real incidents of humans eating their dead, Ravenous presents the idea that once someone tries it, nothing else will ever satisfy them again.
Get away from me! Get away from me!
Atmospheric, unsurprisingly gory, weirdly comedic, and featuring a mesmerizing performance by Robert Carlyle, Ravenous uses history and myth to craft a strange but captivating horror film.
Captain Boyd.
Captain. How's the leg?
Number 6.
Wolf Creek. Rather than being based on one set of circumstances, this film is an amalgamation of various real-life events. These include the crimes of 2 Australian killers, Ivan Milat and Bradley John Murdoch.
What did he actually do? Now.
Oh, I could tell you. But then I'd have to kill you.
Both preyed on tourists. Milat in the late 80s and early 90s, and Murdoch in 2001 when he attacked British traveler Peter Falconio and his girlfriend Joanne Lees. Paralleling the events of the movie, the couple was driving through the Australian outback when their car was flagged down by a stranded motorist.
Bang!
Lees managed to escape but heard gunshots. Falconio was never seen again, and his body hasn't been recovered.
Like your little mate said before, you know, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Number 5.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Henry Lee Lucas may seem like the stuff of nightmares, but unfortunately, he's based on a real-life figure.
I'm not saying you can't use a gun, just don't use the same gun twice.
Active between the years 1960 and 83, Lucas claimed to have committed hundreds of murders. Initially, the police accepted his claims.
Did you really kill your mama?
What?
Did you really kill your mama?
I guess I did.
However, it turned out that most of his confessions were false. Nevertheless, Lucas was convicted of 11 homicides, 3 of which were confirmed by authorities. The film states that it was inspired by his life and fantasies more than his actual murders. But it did get many details right, including being maltreated as a child by his mother and his partnership with Otis Toole.
Don't do that, Otis. She's your sister.
Okay, I was only kidding around, Henry.
Tell her you're sorry.
Number 4.
Scream. Underneath Scream's satirical tone and marketable slasher villain lies a story about a small town driven to chaos by a string of violent murders.
Is that Sidney Prescott they took away? I'm not talking to you. What happened to her? None of your damn business.
The script behind Wes Craven's 90s horror flick was sparked into existence by the Gainesville murders committed by Daniel Rolling in 1990.
He called me again last night at Tatum's house.
You see? Couldn't have been me. I was in jail. Remember?
While there are a couple of similarities, Scream's screenwriter was primarily inspired by the widespread fear caused by the killings. It's the idea that there could be a faceless psychopath standing outside the window waiting for the opportunity to strike.
Number 3.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Hello? Is anybody home?
The notorious murderer Ed Gein has served as a loose inspiration for plenty of horror films, with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre being one of the most famous. The similarities mostly come down to Leatherface's mask, as Gein also fashioned such keepsakes, although not in order to hide a physical deformity like the movie's killer. The film's disturbing house also bears some resemblance to Ed Gein's grotesque flesh-themed home. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is far from an Ed Gein biopic, but the film's grisly aesthetic reflects the depraved nature of the murderer's crimes.
Now don't you cry, none. Old Grandpa's the best. It won't hurt a bit.
Number 2. Psycho.
The Psycho novel and Hitchcock's adaptation were released only a few years following the capture and trial of Ed Gein.
Are you sure you wouldn't like to stay just a little while longer? Just for talk?
I'd like to, but...
All right.
Norman Bates is a socially awkward but seemingly harmless outcast defined by his unhealthy relationship with his fanatical and harsh mother, traits reminiscent of the real-life murderer. Although Gein influenced the presentation of Norman Bates in various ways, the character's crimes were wholly the invention of Robert Bloch, the book's author. A landmark release in the slasher genre, Psycho holds up as a stylish and frightful exploration of violence and madness.
And in the end, he intended to tell them I killed those girls and that man, as if I could do anything except just sit and stare, like one of his stuffed birds.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. The Amityville Horror.
I like to refer
refer to this as a fixer-upper that can be fun.
One of the most controversial horror movies inspired by true events, the Amityville Horror chronicles the Lutz family's stay in a house that had recently seen a gruesome tragedy.
And when he was at trial, he testified that he heard voices in the house. He heard voices in the house, and the voices told him to do it.
With pig creatures, walls spouting blood, and ancient burial grounds, the Amityville Horror presumably takes a few liberties with a story that has plenty of skeptics. But the grim murders that started everything undoubtedly happened. Taken on its own, the Amityville Horror is a quintessential haunted house movie, a tale about a fractured family driven to the point of insanity by mind-breaking phenomena.
Don't hurt my baby!
Kathy?
Which of these real-life crimes keeps you up at night? Let us know in the comments below. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.